Week 77 of Reselling Online, and boy oh boy, it's been a journey to get here, but I'm super excited to share this week with you, not because it's week 77, but simply because I've just finished my first end-to-end financial year doing this reselling business. And I've been doing reselling for 18 months, so this last 12 months has been the first end-to-end result, and I'm excited to share with you the results. We're going to go through that today. I'll quickly touch on how we did progress for week 77. It's actually been probably one of the best weeks I've had in a long time, but then we'll dive into the entirety of the financial year. How have I progressed? We'll go through all the numbers. Now, if you're keen to hear about numbers, that's what we're talking about today, because one thing I want to make sure that I'm always sharing with you is the full truth, the full honesty, and how the numbers work and what they mean, and maybe it can help you further your business, or maybe it can help you get a little bit more in touch with your numbers and do a little bit better in your business. Of course, we're going to touch on a whole bunch of different things. Let's dive in. Kicking off with the top items for this week, and then we're going to touch on a couple of cool items too. Top item number one was this Cashflow 202 board game DVD set. Now, essentially, my girlfriend, she purchased Cashflow 101 and 202. She didn't want the 202, so I said, well, let's sell it. So this one cost me $0, and because it came from her, and I've been able to get $84.15 for this one. Top item number two for this week was this Lego Friends minifigure bulk lot. This is coming from that Lego haul that I got. So basically lotted this out for $10 as a cost. Sold this for $89 and profited $54.43. Top item number three was also from this Lego lot. This is Princess Leia's slave version from the Jabba's, I think it's sail barge, and lotted this out at $10 once again, coming from that Lego lot, and sold it for $80. I kid you not, one minifig for $80 and profited $48.47 after fees and postage, of course. Now, a couple of cool items. Cool item number one was this Matchbox 1976 super carrier, and this is just crazy because yes, I paid $2.60 for this, but I was told that they move out the door, and this thing has sold $19.80 after fees and postage. I've only come out with $4.90, but it's just cool to be able to pick up little cars and try new things. So definitely, if I could get a bulk lot of Matchbox cars and pay real cheap, I would do it again. And cool item number two, or item number five for this week, were these Barbie bookends. And essentially, I've paid 42 cents for these in a big bulk lot that I got. That's how much it parted out to be. I've sold them for $27.20 with free postage, and I've profited $11.73. So not too bad. Look, something I probably wouldn't necessarily look out for, if, because they're probably going to be around $10 if you found them in the shop, because I only got them for 42 cents. It's cheap as chips, but still pretty cool to be able to sell. So how have we progressed for week 77? Well, we've done total sales of $55, ASP was $31, margin 52%, cost of goods $152, and revenue we've done $1,704.30. Profit after fees and postage, of course, is $886.31. So not too bad. Average cycle time has been 51 days for this week, and as you can see, here's all the items that have been selling. It's been a good variety of different things. Like, seriously, it's actually surprised me of the things that have been selling this week. I thought it was going to be quite slow, just because we were coming half into financial year and then the start of the new financial year, but it picked up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Here you can see it. This is the weekly flow. We actually had a pretty consistent week, and there was no kind of like really big dips, really high, mountains or peaks or anything like that. It was pretty consistent along the way. So very, very happy with this, and we've actually averaged, almost 7 to 8 to 9 sales a day, which is above average for me. Usually I'm doing about 5 to 6. So all in all, not too bad. I'm very, very, very pleased with this, and it's a great way to kick off the new financial year. Now, speaking of new financial year, that's where we're at. We've just kicked off the new financial year, FY23 for here in Australia. That's from 1st of July all the way till the 30th of June, which means this is my first financial year, FY22, of doing my business end to end. And it's been really, really rewarding to be able to see that progress over the last 12 months. And we're going to dive in, we're going to touch on all the numbers. So let's get into it. So I want to touch on some highlights. And the reason why I've done this is because this, to me, I want to set a baseline. I want to be able to look at this and be able to see what did I do this financial year. So when I get to the end of last financial year, I've got some stats to compare to, right? And I think it's really important that you do this. I actually talk about this in my podcast as well, Further Your Lifestyle. But anyway, so the highlights for this financial year was I've done more than 2,400 items sold. I've been selling across 2 platforms, mainly eBay, but I did sell a bit private or on Facebook. I've done $69,000 in revenue, just above that actually. Operating margin was 30.9%, not too bad. And I've had a total of 2,205 customers with a 3.9% return buyer, which was actually really encouraging to be able to have a lot of customers come back and purchase again. And actually what's even more inspiring and encouraging is majority of that 3.9% has been in the last probably 3 to 4 months. In terms of sales by category, and this is based off eBay, books have been 22.96% of my sales, about almost $18,000 in revenue. Movies and TV, so DVDs, Blu-rays, was about 16.6%. Video games was 13.28%. Action figures was 4.6% basically, and video game consoles then being the next big kicker, 3.14%. Now, this is obviously a percentage of the top 5, and then the rest has been around 39%, which, break up a whole different little subcategories and things like that. But interesting to see it. If I looked at my own data, it would probably still be books, DVDs, video games, and then toys if I did it that next level up. Some key facts that I think are really important to understand is I purchased a total of 5,673 new stock items in FY22, and I had a sell-through rate of those of about 30%, meaning 30% of those have sold. Now, in terms of the return on investment, so basically the new stock purchased and the return on that stock is 595%. Now, to that, it is a little diluted because some of the stuff that I have sold this year has been stuff from old inventory and old stock, but the return on investment basically from stock purchased this year and then the revenue made this year is 595%, which it's just incredible to be able to find and see that number of that return on investment. So it's just incredible to see this because what I've been pumping into the business is giving me a great return. And the average sale price for FY22 was $32.58. Some fun facts was what was my highest eBay sale was $529.97. I did get some bigger sales privately, but I wanted to focus more on eBay here. And that was an Xbox 360 Halo 4 limited edition console. I've sold 52 items 2 times or more. And my best day on eBay, once again, not a private sale or anything like that, purely eBay, was $850.94. And my average cost of goods was $2.07. Just gonna pause there for a second. We're about to jump into the income statement and all that jazz and actually break down the numbers of how I've gone for this year. I will say frankly that these numbers have not been finalized with my accountant, and there's probably a few things, give or take, that just need to be updated. So I would expect there's probably a plus minus 5% here or there, just for room for error and things like that. So do take that into mind. And what I share with you here is obviously what's worked for me, what's happening for me. This is my first end-to-end financial year. So to me, this is all just good news because now I've got something to compare to. And that's what I really want to harp on for this video, is that once you've got a baseline, you can start to use that as your advantage to then move forward and see how you can do things different or better. Actually, both usually would be the better idea. But yeah, let's dive into it. So the income statement for FY22, which is July 1st, 2021, all the way to June 30th, 2022. Revenue was $69,798. That's product sales. We've done $66,694 on eBay and about $3,100 on Facebook/private. Cost of goods sold was $7,774 with a gross profit of $62,000.24. Yeah. Expenses, we had a total of $36,540. Of that, fees was $13,000. Postage was around $16,700. And everything else, marketing or storage supplies and things like that, that was $6,800. So as you can see, profit then comes in to be $25,484. And tax is not included in this. The reason why is because, yes, this is my primary income, but I have other income sources. So the tax that I pay this year is not purely based off this. It's purely based off all my incomes, whether it's from a rental property, whether it's from stocks, whether it's from investments, whether it's from other small hobbies and other things that I've been selling in other businesses and stuff like that. So that's why I'm not including tax here, because it's not really relevant for this conversation. So now if we look at the accounting view, now there's 2 views here, which also I want to make sure people understand. There's the income statement view that I just showed you, which is product sales minus cost of goods, and then you minus fees, postage, and other costs, etc., which is what I've got here. And then I've got a little table there on the side that shows cash flow. Right, and that's the operating margin that I showed you at the start. The difference between this is if you're doing it as a cash flow perspective, you're doing product sales minus your fees, your postage, your other costs, and your new stock purchased. From an accounting view, or from the taxman view, or the way we operate a business from an income statement view, it's product sales minus cost of goods minus fees, postage, and other costs. So that's why I've provided both. So from an accounting view or from an income statement view, I've actually had an operating margin of 36.5%. But from a cash flow perspective, once I put all that into play, and actually from the new stock that I've actually done, which was $11,700, cash flow, or the cash flow operating margin was actually 30.8%. As I said, some of these numbers need to be finalized and just double checked, but that's essentially where I've landed. You can see here the flow of how each month has been, where I've been spending the most money and things like that. I'm so grateful for this year. And this is that accounting views, just so you can see what it looks like over from a graphical view over the entire year. And there's a nice little sweet spot here, as you can see, where costs are down, revenue's up, and profit is also up. That was the sweet spot. That was in January 2022. That's where you want to be. So from an eBay view, this is just a quick screenshot from eBay. Now you're probably asking why are the numbers different, total sales and things like that. Well, the total sales here includes what the buyer paid in postage. Previously, it's already been parted out in those other views, and you're probably thinking, well, net sales is different as well, Chris. That's right. I had more sales from private sales and Facebook sales. So that's why it's a little different, and that's why I wanted to show it here, just so you've got that perspective. All right, now one of the big questions that I always get is, how am I using profit first? How does that look like? And I want to try and harp this on as much as possible. If you've not read the book, read the book. It's going to do you wonders. But essentially, the way I manage my money is, as money comes in on a weekly basis, that's how I pay myself from eBay, I split it out. And what I said I would do for the end of the financial year was take you through of what that looks like and where I landed from a percentage split. So my OPEX, which is all operating expenses, that's what I use on a weekly basis to purchase everything, it worked out to be 40.73%. Owner's pay was 40.66%, that's what I pay myself. Profit is 5%, that's kind of like a bonus pay, and tax was 12.93% that I allocate for the tax man. So after all the payouts that I got that came into my bank account, timing of this is obviously not perfect because some weeks were half of the previous financial year and half of the new financial year. So it works out, landed in my account was $66,850.82. So OPEX that I put to operating expenses from a cash flow perspective was $27,000. My owner's pay, what I paid myself in my bank account, was $26,982. And then profit was $3,352. That's a bonus pay, what I've been paying myself as a bit of a, celebrate, as a win, as a quarterly dividend or things like that. And then the last amount was tax, which worked out to be $8,897 totally allocated for tax. Now, that means come to the end of the year, if I had a tax bill of $4,000, I'm covered. I'm good. I don't have to worry about anything. And that's why I put away each week, every time I get paid, to all these different buckets. I might change it up for the new financial year, and we'll talk about that later. So just some interesting facts around this whole cash flow perspective of profit first. From an OPEX perspective, I was using 70.6% on average per week of the amounts that were landing in there. So then my owner's pay, what I ended up paying myself into my pocket on average, was $529. And I have a lot of people say, it's like, oh, that's not a lot of money. No, it's not. It's actually below minimum wage, to be honest. I do have other means of income and things like that. But once again, this is my primary source of income, and my intent is now to grow. Now I've got a baseline. Now it's to see where I can go with it, right? And to be able to do that all on your own is really exciting. And for me, I'm very proud of it, because I've been able to do everything in this business by myself. And now I've got something to use as a baseline to move forward with and see do bigger and better next year. So one thing that I do love to do is reflect, and being the end of the financial year, there's definitely some things that I want to go through, and I use rose, thorn, bud, basically things that went well, things that went bad, and things that have opportunity. So the first one being, well, rose, and essentially, this being my first end-to-end financial year, it feels so good. It just feels great to be able to achieve that, and that's what I'm really, really grateful for, and very, very proud and very happy about. The consistency has paid off. I've obviously had a lot of lessons, and there's been lots of ups and downs, but the consistency have paid off. So much has been learned during the process. I've taken a lot of things away, and I'm going to have to be able to take a lot and apply them for this new financial year. But I think the big kicker is, or the big win is, the community is king. A big thank you to so many of you. I've had so many people supporting me, whether it's in the comments, whether it's a message on Instagram, behind the scenes, people mentoring me, keeping me accountable, and things like that. So a huge thank you to you all. In terms of thorns, things that didn't go well, the roller coaster of emotions, it can get you. And there was definitely moments there where I was challenged, in moments where I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make money? Or la-da-da-da-da. But then you have a good week or you have a good day, and it's trying not to get so focused on that. And one thing that I have also realized this year is time and effort versus return and profit. That's a big one to really understand, and definitely something that I'll be working on into the new financial year. and then processes and workflow may equal bottlenecks. And this one I've always spoken about, that, you know, if you've got friction points, fix them, because it will make your life a bit easier. And just because it's working doesn't mean it's right. So they're definitely some things I'm looking at into the new financial year too. And then, but what is there for opportunity? And well, as I said before, I now have a baseline. I now have something to compare to from an end-to-end financial year of just pure income coming from this business. And it's a chance to now leverage those lessons. It's a chance to, you know, take the experience and run with it, fly with it, and see what I can do. And it's also given me a huge confidence boost to be able to go out and do things. Now, the next thing is, I'm probably getting the question of like, well, what happens from here, Chris? Like, what are you changing? You know, what are the things that you're going to be doing for FY22? Well, essentially, I'm going to be doing a video on that very, very soon. And if it's come out already, you can check it out. But essentially, what I'll be doing is taking you through what I plan to change, or what I plan to do for FY23 that I'm doing differently from this year. And that's to help you kick off with the right things in place, to help you get into the right routines. But also, you know, there's things there which I need to be doing as well and get myself into a better routine. And there's plenty of room for improvement. And what I love about this community is we do help each other. We can learn from each other. So if you want to know some things that I'll be doing differently for FY23 that might help you get into the right flow or into the right groove for your reselling business, we'll jump back on Wednesday. I'll have another video and we'll go through it. I'm excited to be able to share those details as well. Look, I'm just excited in general just to finish this financial year. It's been so great to be able to do so. Look, there's probably a lot more things that I could have said, or a lot more things that you might want to ask. Ask a question. Chuck a comment down below, ask a question. I'm more than happy to continue the conversation. And if I can answer those questions, I'll continue to do so, whether it's in a video or in the comments. But yeah, that's FY 2022. Pretty solid, pretty happy with this. It's just incredible to see what you were capable of doing when you put your work to it, right? And I'm excited to see what I can do for the next. So really do appreciate you being here. As I said, got any questions, comments, chuck them down below. Otherwise, you have a wonderful day. Cheers.